Welcome, everyone. Today we're diving into some really unsettling real-life accounts. These aren't just stories. They're true encounters that listeners have shared with us. They really explore the chilling side of things, the unexpected dangers that can just pop up in ordinary life. Our goal here is really make you think, reflect on personal safety, on being vigilant, because sometimes the worst threats come when you least expect it.
Exactly. And it's not just about sharing these, gripping narratives. We also want to pull out the crucial insights, the lessons you can actually use to help you navigate the world with, let's say, a heightened sense of awareness.
Absolutely. They're warnings, really, opportunities to learn. So let's get into it. Our first account starts back in 2007 to 2009, right in the middle of the Myspace era.
Ah, MySpace. Simpler times, maybe? Or maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. So our narrator was in 7th grade. He got paired with a classmate, Sarah, for a math project. And he describes Sarah as, pretty unkempt. Greasy hair, a noticeable smell, a bit overweight, wore the same clothes constantly. But the narrator, he was a kind kid. He actually felt bad for her because other kids picked on her. So he made an effort, decided to be friendly, talk to her even when maybe he didn't really want to.
A simple act of kindness.
Yeah, but that kindness sort of backfired.
Yeah.
Sarah started getting comfortable, too comfortable. One day, she just declared her love and asked him to be her boyfriend. He politely said no, explained he liked someone else, and that's when things took a turn.
It escalated.
Dramatically. Her declarations of love became a daily thing, and the staring, constant staring for the whole 45-minute class. Plus, she'd relentlessly badmouth any other girl she thought he might like. It was incredibly unsettling for him. He even tried talking to the teacher.
I'm a teacher.
Laughed it off, said he was overreacting. Ignoring her didn't work either, so he tried being direct, telling her plainly he wasn't interested.
That sounds tough for a 7th grader to navigate.
It really was. And then things got genuinely disturbing. About a week after he tried distancing himself, he noticed cuts on her arms. She denied it at first, but then confessed. Said she was taking the sharpest knife in her house and cutting herself because he didn't love her.
Wow. That's heavy.
It gets darker. She started talking about suicide, saying it would be his fault, and she demanded he choose how she died. He obviously urged her not to, pleaded with her, but he still remembers feeling just profoundly disturbed and sick. The details were chilling. After that, he just reverted to being nice again, trying to ignore the really bizarre stuff.
That's an immense burden to put on a child.
Absolutely. And around this time, he had a huge crush on Miley Cyrus, from Hannah Montana. Sarah knew this. So as weeks went by, she started mimicking Miley perfectly. Catchphrases, hand gestures, everything from the show. It got so creepy he couldn't even watch Hannah Montana anymore. Her imitation was just too spot on.
That's unnerving, a total identity shift almost.
Yeah. And then the fake MySpace account started. Fake Miley Cyrus profile, sending him messages like, "Why don't you like Hannah from your math class?" He'd confront her, and poof, the accounts would just vanish immediately.
So she knew he knew.
Seems like it. As the year went on, the teacher finally noticed the constant staring and started yelling at Sarah. Didn't work. So the teacher moved her across the room. But Sarah just angled herself differently to keep staring. Eventually, she got kicked out of class entirely. After that, he didn't see her much, but sometimes, like in the hall or at lunch, she'd run up with a disposable camera and just snap his picture.
Still escalating, just as a different way.
Exactly. He'd finally had enough of all the creepy stuff, as he put it. He reported everything to the vice principal. Shortly after, Sarah was transferred to a special needs school. He and his parents had a meeting with the principal about safety. And the principal kept using the word disturbing about her threats. The look on his face, real concern, made the narrator realize just how serious it all was.
It sounds like the school finally took it seriously, thankfully.
Yes, but it wasn't over. Fast forward a year and a half, start of 9th grade. He hadn't seen Sarah at all. He's chatting online, MySpace again, with this very pretty girl. He admits he didn't love her personality, but, she was pretty. One night, he mentions he's at his friend Greg's house, in his tree house. Suggests she come hang out. She says maybe no time. Later that night, he and Greg are in the tree house. It's right by the road. He looks out and sees someone, hooded figure, sitting on the curb, just staring down at something in their hands.
Ominous.
Yeah, they kind of ignored it, but the person just stayed there. They told Greg's dad, but by the time they checked, the figure was gone. The next morning, they go check out the spot on the sidewalk. There's what looks like a piece of paper. He picks it up. It's thick paper covered in crayon lines. He flips it over, and it's a picture of him.
Oh, no.
He just froze. He'd never seen this picture. It was clearly taken with a disposable camera in the school hallway. One of the times she'd run up to him.
It had to be her.
Instantly, he knew. It was Sarah. She took that photo. She was the person on the curb last night. But how did she know he was there? Then he remembered telling that pretty girl on MySpace. He rushes back to her profile. It looked totally legit at first glance. Comments, pictures from over a year ago, like 300 friends, public chats.
Well-established fake.
Exactly. But then he looked closer at her friends' profiles. Each one. Maybe 2 pictures. Totally inactive, unless they were talking to her profile. It was undeniable. The pretty girl was fake. It was Sarah all along.
The level of planning.
Incredible. He messaged her immediately. Told her to stay away, threatened to call the police. Her response, just a string of numbers, followed by the words, "I will make you feel."
Chilling. Absolutely chilling.
Minutes later, all the accounts, hers and the fake friends, deleted. Gone. The most unsettling part for him, that fake account had been active for over a year before she even started talking to him, just waiting. He hasn't seen or heard from her since. It's been over 6 years. But he truly believes she's still out there, planning something.
Yeah.
That she'll be back.
That long-term calculated aspect is terrifying. It speaks to a deep, persistent obsession. The way this evolved from direct interaction to this elaborate, years-long online deception. It's a stark example of how digital spaces can be weaponized.
Right. Anonymity masking real intent.
Precisely. And that final message, "I will make you feel," combined with the numbers, it suggests something deeply calculating. It's not just a threat. It feels like a promise of control, of making him experience something. It really highlights how online interactions, even seemingly casual ones, can have these hidden, potentially dangerous layers.
A truly disturbing story. Okay, shifting gears now, from that psychological deep game to something very different, sudden physical danger. This next account is from a family vacation in Breslavia. The narrator was about 14. He was with his younger brother, who was 11, and his older brother, 19. They were all just sitting outside their relative's place with their luggage, waiting, talking.
Okay, seemingly normal situation.
Until it wasn't. Suddenly, this large car just speeds around the corner, pauses for a second, then drives directly towards them, actually hopping the curb. Only 2 men visible in the front seat. And the scary part, the narrator and his little brother. They thought it was a game at first, totally oblivious.
Wow, that contrast.
Yeah, but the parents and the older brother instantly freaked out. They're in a foreign country, no working phones, no real weapons. Their family was supposed to meet them right there. The mom grabs the younger boys, tells them, "Stay close, be ready to run." The men in the car just sit there whispering. The dad and older brother are staring back, figuring out how they'd fight.
Tense. Very tense.
Then, the critical moment. The men in the car shift their gaze from the father to the 2 younger kids. The second his dad saw that, he reached into his pocket, pulled out 2 knives, flicked them open, handed one to his older son, and told him, point blank, "Don't let them take your siblings."
Whoa. Instant defense mode.
Absolutely. The men saw the knives. They looked right into the father's eyes. Then they just turned the car back on, backed up, and drove off. Later, the dad told him he'd also whispered to the older son, "Try and take one of them down at least." He and his brother were fully prepared to die to protect the younger ones. The narrator says he can never thank them enough. God knows where I'd be now if my dad wasn't the man he was.
That is incredibly powerful. The difference between the kid's perception and the parent's immediate life or death response is stark. It really hammers home the need for situational awareness, especially somewhere unfamiliar.
Definitely.
And it shows that raw protective instinct. Sometimes just showing you will fight back is enough to deter an attacker.
A chilling reminder of potential dangers abroad. Okay, story number 3. This one happens late at night, in what the narrator calls a less than ideal neighborhood. He's 22 years old, walking his Dutch Shepherd puppy, Maddie, who was only 5 months old. It's around 2 a.m. on a Saturday, just a final walk before bed.
Late night walks can be risky.
They can. So as he's walking Maddie back towards his street, he glances down the road at one of his backup cars parked there. He notices the driver's rear window is halfway down. Which is weird. He hasn't driven it in months, doesn't remember leaving it open. He stops for a few seconds, just looking at it, trying to figure it out.
Okay, a minor distraction.
Right. But at that exact moment, Maddie, the puppy, starts barking like crazy, just uncontrollably, pulling really hard on the leash back towards their house. He's still looking at the car, so he initially just thinks, "Oh, she's cold, wants to go inside."
Dismissing the dog's reaction.
Yeah, for a few seconds. He decides, okay, let's get her inside, check the car later. He turns his head back towards the house. And that's when he sees him. A man, standing maybe 3 feet away, way too close for a stranger at 2 a.m.
Maddie is going nuts, growling intensely now. The narrator looks at the man's face, but the man isn't looking at him. He's staring intensely at Maddie.
Focusing on the dog? That's odd. Very odd. His left hand is just casual, by his side, but his right hand is hidden behind his back, like he's holding something. The narrator immediately thinks, weapon. There's this silent standoff for maybe 10 seconds. Man staring at the dog. Narrator's heart is pounding. He finally asks, kind of confrontational, what's up?
And the response?
Nothing. No response. Doesn't even break his stare on Maddie. The narrator sees the guy shift his hidden hand slightly. He's like, okay, what do I do if he lunges? Then, after another agonizing moment, the man's right hand comes back to his side, relaxed, just like the left. The man was between the narrator and his front door, but the narrator knew he had to move. He turned, walked towards his car instead, putting distance. Shortly after, the man just started walking away up the sidewalk.
Close call.
Extremely. But it was only after the man left that the full creepiness hit him. He realized he never heard or saw the man approach. He'd been looking in that general direction just moments before, walking from the field. He only looked away at his car for maybe 5 seconds. The guy must have snuck up. Purposely.
Deliberate approach.
Yeah. They met right in the middle of the street. This wasn't some random passerby. The guy positioned himself there. Never spoke, never answered, never made eye contact with the narrator, just stared at the dog the entire time. The narrator's conclusion. The guy was sizing her up, trying to figure out if he could take the dog or the narrator before the other could interfere. Clear ill intentions. He also made a point to say the guy's eyes were white, not bloodshot. He walked away soberly. This wasn't random drunk behavior. Our narrator adds, he was a cat guy his whole life before Maddie. Says it only took her 4 months to change his mind. Now he gets why dogs are called man's best friend.
Wow. Maddie potentially saved him from something really bad there. Her instincts were spot on. It's a huge lesson. Trust your animal's reactions. Don't rationalize them away.
Absolutely.
Especially at night or when you're distracted. That sizing up behavior is classic predator assessment. The dog detected it immediately. It reinforces that need for constant vigilance, even when something minor, like a car window, pulls your focus.
Such a crucial point. Okay, next story. This involves an 18-year-old female. She describes herself as small, blonde, with an approachable face. She's waiting outside a busy train station in her town, lots of bags around her, ready to head off to work at a festival.
Busy place, broad daylight. Seems relatively safe.
You'd think. Suddenly, a small man, long, greasy black hair, leather trench coat, approaches her smiling. Okay, maybe a bit odd, but then, bam, 5 other guys just appear, seemingly out of nowhere, and completely encircle her.
Whoa, that's terrifying. Ambush style.
Totally. The leader, the first guy, demands her name. She refuses. He immediately calls her racist. His buddies just stare, moving in closer. His whole tone changes. She said she felt sick with fear, all their eyes just fixed on her. People are walking by. It's busy, but nobody seems to notice or care what's happening to her.
The bystander effect. Chilling in itself.
It really is.
Yeah.
Then, the moment it clicks into critical danger, she sees the leader holding a knife under his jacket, but she sees it. Everything happened incredibly fast then. Instinct. She pushed him hard and just ran, left all her bags, everything, ran straight into the station.
Good for her. Fight or flight kicked in.
Thankfully, the woman who was picking her up was already inside the station. She saw her, burst into tears. The woman went back out and managed to retrieve her bags. The guys were gone. But the narrator added some chilling context later. Apparently, there had been several rapes in that city center over the years. Women literally snatched off busy streets by gangs. She couldn't shake the feeling she was almost one of them.
That really underscores how quickly a situation can turn life-threatening, even in a crowd. Her gut feeling that this was different, that it wasn't the time for fake names or trying to talk her way out, that instinct was vital.
Yeah, she mentioned she usually just gives a fake name in weird situations, but this felt wrong.
Right, and it highlights a harsh reality. Sometimes help isn't coming. You have to be prepared to act decisively yourself. Running, screaming, abandoning property, whatever it takes to create distance and escape. Prioritizing your safety above all else.
Absolutely critical advice. Okay, one final story for today. This one involves a tactic that's unfortunately become more common, a kind of modern car park trap. This happened to the narrator and her sister just last winter. They were in a huge, dimly lit underground shopping center car park in London. It gets dark early there in winter, like 4 p.m.
Underground car parks can definitely feel unsafe.
They can. Her sister had just started her shift working at the shopping center. The narrator was heading back to her car. The car park had lots of vehicles, but she didn't see any other people around. She gets into her car, locks the doors, puts it in reverse, and she notices a white piece of paper stuck to her rear window, partially blocking her view. She knew it wasn't there when she parked.
The setup.
Exactly. Her first instinct might have been to get out and remove it.
Yeah.
But just as she was about to maybe drive forward a bit to get a better angle or consider getting out, she saw it. The back door of a van parked behind her slid open, and there was a man inside, just waiting, staring directly at her.
It's textbook.
Textbook trap. She didn't hesitate for a second. She immediately just gunned it, shot out of that car park as fast as she could, didn't wait to see what happened next.
Smart. Very smart move.
On the way home, she called her sister, told her what happened. The sister reported it to her manager. Security got involved, but nothing really came of it. They couldn't find the van or the man. But the narrator said she'd heard stories about this exact tactic. Kidnappers or attackers putting Vaseline, paper, flyers, anything on a car window, especially the rear one. The whole point is to lure you out of the safety of your lost car. Once you're out, you're vulnerable. Attack, robbery, kidnapping, worse. She really wanted to share this to warn others. If you see something unexpected in your car window, think before you get out. Have your key ready, get in, lock the doors immediately, and just drive away. Deal with the paper later, somewhere safe.
That is such a vital piece of practical advice. It perfectly illustrates that broken routine principle we talked about earlier. Anything out of the ordinary when you're approaching or inside your vehicle should set off alarm bells.
Right, don't just dismiss it.
Never dismiss it. Lock the doors first, always. Assess the situation from inside the locked car. If something needs removing, like she said, drive to a well-lit, populated area first. Don't make yourself an easy target right there in the potentially isolated spot where the trap was set. It's about recognizing these known criminal tactics and refusing to play their game.
So, reflecting on all these stories today, from that really chilling long-term stalking to the sudden threat in Breslavia, man sizing up Maddie, the train station gang, this car park trap, each one just hammers home how fast ordinary life can become terrifying. They're powerful, real reminders about staying aware, about personal safety.
They absolutely are. And the core message, I think, is to internalize these lessons. Learn to trust your gut, your instincts, even your pet's instincts. Be truly aware of your surroundings, not just physically present, but mentally engaged. Consider the potential risks, even in places you feel comfortable. Because vigilance, it's not about living in constant fear. It's about empowerment. It's about having the tools to recognize danger and avoid it.
Well said. It really makes you think. What hidden threats might be lurking, unnoticed, in your everyday environment? And how can you be just a little bit more prepared for the unexpected? If you found these accounts as gripping and, frankly, as valuable as we did, please do like, share, and subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs. We share chilling true stories like these regularly.
Stay aware out there.
Stay safe, everyone, and remember, always trust your instincts.